As a beginner, if you want to learn how to do your own makeup yourself and you just don't know how to go about it, this tutorial is for you because everything is extremely detailed and I'm going to be telling you guys everything you need to know about makeup application. So let's jump straight into this video. So first thing, you want to clean up the face in order to remove dirt and oil on the face. Then you go ahead to hydrate your skin to give it a little bit of hydration. After that, you're going to allow it to absorb into the skin. Then next, you want to moisturize your skin. It's important you moisturize your skin whether you have oily or dry skin. And as a lady, it's also important you have a moisturizer in your skincare routine. So moisturizer is one of the basic things you need in your makeup application. So whether you have oily or dry skin, always moisturize your skin. So after moisturizing the skin, I'm going to let it dry into the skin before moving on to primer. For primer, I'm going to be using this Kiss Beauty primer. Primer is going to give the makeup a very good base to sit on. And if you have oily skin, it's best to use a mattifying primer that would help reduce the oil from coming out. So this tutorial is going to be very subtle and it's something that you can wear every day of your life, except you're going for a party. You can change the whole look, but this look is good for an everyday look because it's very light. So after priming, you want to allow it to dry into the skin before you move on to foundation. For foundation, I'm going to be using my L'Oreal foundation in the shade C7. So I first of all used a flat brush to apply it on the face. Then I went ahead to spray the face for easy blending. After that, I'm going to be using my damp beauty sponge to blend the foundation into the skin. So make sure your beauty sponge is soft and damp. If it's soft and damp, you won't have issues in blending. But if your beauty sponge is not soft and if it's not damp, you have issues in blending in your foundation. First of all, your beauty sponge has to be soft. Then secondly, it has to be damp. So while blending in your foundation, you don't need to be hard on the skin. Just make sure you're light-handed and blend properly into the skin. After blending in the foundation, next I'm going to be highlighting the face. So I'm going to be using my Eyebrow concealer in the shade A20 to highlight the face. So when you want to highlight the face, you need a shade that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than the skin to highlight the face, depending on what you want to achieve. And a little concealer goes a long way, so avoid applying too much concealer on the face. After that, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend the concealer on the highlighted area. So why I said you should apply a little quantity of concealer so that it will be easy for you. At the end of the day you need to apply more concealer, go ahead to apply more concealer, but start with little quantity first before you add more concealer. So how you apply and blend your concealer will determine the outcome. So while blending, like I always say, do not be too hard on the skin. As long as your beauty sponge is soft, everything will go as smooth as you want. So there are people who like the inner corner of their face to be a little highlighted than the outer corner. So if you are that person, you can go ahead applying a little lighter concealer on the inner corner of your face. So after that, I'm going to be setting the concealer with my Merak setting powder in the shade Cinnamon. But before setting, you want to go back with your beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath the eyes to avoid creasing. Then I go ahead to set. So while setting, do not pack too much setting powder. So whenever I take my setting powder, I always like to dust it off before setting so that the setting powder won't be too much. And while you're setting, don't just lean on a particular place. While you're setting, set and spread the setting powder so that it won't have cakey outcome. So make sure you set properly before you move on to the other side. So you use your setting powder to set only on the highlighted area, the places you applied your concealer. That's the place you're meant to set with your setting powder. So if you don't have a setting powder, you can make do with your pressed powder. But your pressed powder has to be a little lighter than your normal skin powder. So after setting the concealer on the highlighted area, I'm going to be setting the rest of her face. But before that, I had to change the background because that other place was looking too light. So to set the rest of the face, I'm going to be using my Becharm powder palette. I'm just going to take this shade here to set the rest of the face. So if you want to set the rest of your face, make sure you use the exact skin shade of your skin tone to set the rest of your face. Do not use a shade lighter or darker. Make sure it matches with your skin color. So it's not a must you must use a powder palette. You can make use of your powder as long as it matches with your skin. That is the most important thing. Make sure your powder matches with your skin tone. With that, you'll be able to achieve a flawless finish look. So after setting the rest of the face, next I'm going to be contouring. I'm going to be using this darker shade. If you want to contour your face, it's best to use a shade that is 2 to 3 shades darker than the skin to contour your face. So you start by applying it under the cheekbone to carve out the appearance, and also on the forehead to make it look smaller, and also on your jawline to define its shape. So this contour is going to help add dimension to the face, and it could actually make your face look slimmer when you contour very well. So if you don't have a powder palette where you have different shades of powder, you can make use of your contour palette, or you buy any powder of your choice that is a little darker than your skin to contour your face. So while watching this video, if there is anything you don't understand, please drop it in the comment section and I'll gladly answer you. All the products that I used in creating this route are in my description box. So for more coverage on the highlighted area, I'm going to be using this shade from the same powder palette and apply it only on the highlighted area to give it more coverage. So after that, I'm going to be using my powder brush to blend everything together. So I went back using that contour brush to blend the areas I contoured. So after that, I'm going to be setting the face with my Case Beauty Spray. This would help to reduce the powder effect and also help all the products that are applied to sit properly into the skin. After setting, I'm going to be drying it up immediately before moving on to the brows. For brows, I'm going to be using my spoolie brush to brush her brows. Then after that, I'm going to be using my carrot gel liner and my angled brush to outline her brows following the shape of her brows. So I prefer using my gel liner and my angled brush for my brows. I know there are people who prefer to use their eye pencil. Do what works for you, but this particular process works for me and it can serve different purposes. So after drawing the brows, I'm going to be brushing it before doing the other brows following the same method. So while drawing your brows, it's important to follow the shape of your brows. With that, you'll be able to draw your brows properly. After that, I'm going to be highlighting the brows with my concealer. I'm going to be using the same concealer I used in highlighting the face to highlight the brows. So after highlighting the face, I'm going to be using my blending brush to blend so that it doesn't get dry and look tacky. After that, I'm going to be highlighting the other brows following the same method. So next is to highlight the top of the brows. I like to use the same foundation I use on the face to highlight the top of the brows. I do not like using the concealer I use underneath the brows because it will make the top of the brows look too light. So that's why I prefer using the foundation I use on the face to highlight the top of the brows. So after highlighting, I'm going to be blending it before doing the other brows. So next is to set the concealer. I'm going to be setting the concealer with this shade from the same powder palette to set the concealer. So moving on to eyeshadow, before you apply your eyeshadow, you need an eyeshadow base. It's either use an eyeshadow primer or concealer to prime your lid. So today I'm going to be using a concealer to prime her lid. This is going to help the the eyeshadow last and pop. So after applying it, I'm going to be using the same brush I used in applying the concealer to blend. So next I'm going to be adding some setting powder on the outer corner of her lid before moving on to eyeshadow. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be using my powder palette. I'm just going to take this shade here as a transition color. So I started applying from the outer corner, then gently blend it towards the inner corner of her lid. Or you can make use of your eyeshadow to do this process, but I decided to use my powder because I want to achieve a very soft eye look. That's why I'm making use of this color powder. So after that, I'm going to be using this shade from the same powder palette to blend out the eyeshadow. So after that, I went back using that brush I used in applying the eyeshadow base, I went back using the brush to blend the inner corner of her lid. After that, I'm going to be applying this shade from the same powder palette and apply it on the inner corner of her lid. So if you want this eyeshadow to stay, you need to like press it in so that it would stay on the lid. So after that, I went back with my eyeshadow blending brush to blend to avoid any demarcation. So you can use any neutral eyeshadow of your choice to achieve this look, but because of the look I'm going for, I decided to make everything look simple. So next I'm going to be lining her upper and lower lash line with my Karite gel liner. After that, I'm going to be prepping her natural lashes in order to give it volume. So I'm going to be using my Zaron mascara to prep her natural lashes. After that, moving on to blush, I'm going to be using my Tara blush palette. I'm just going to take this pink shade here and apply it above her cheekbone and a little bit on the tip of her nose. Then I went ahead to wear her these lashes from Chi Lashes. After wearing her the lashes, I'm going to be pressing her natural and false lashes together so there won't be any form of demarcation. So next I'm going to be doing her lip. I'm going to be using my Blossom lip palette. I'm just going to take the brown shade here to outline her lip. After that, I'm going to be adding this nude color in the middle just to brighten up the lip. So after that, I'm going to be blending it with my blending brush. So next, I'm going to be applying some mascara on her lower lashes. So next, I'm going to be dusting off the excess powder on her face and also dust off the fallout from the eyes. After that, I'm going to be using my powder brush to blend everything together. After blending, I went back with that nose contour brush to touch the nose, like to define the nose properly. Then after that, I'm going to be wearing her lip gloss. So after that, I'm going to be using that contour brush I used to contour the face. I went back using the contour brush to blend the areas I contoured. So I went back using that blush brush I used on her cheekbone. I went back using it to blend again because I really want everything to be well blended. After that, I'm going to be setting the face with my Kiss Beauty Spray. So while setting the face, cover the eyeshadow so that the setting spray doesn't ruin the eyeshadow. Then after that, I'm going to let it dry properly into the skin. So after drying, I'm going to be using my Younger Beauty highlighter. I'm just gonna apply it on the places I want the highlights to pop. After that, I'm going to be using my powder brush to blend everything together so there won't be any form of misunderstanding. After blending everything together, I'm going to be setting the face for the last time. So after setting, I'm going to let it dry properly into the skin. So guys, this is the finished look, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share and subscribe. So this look is a very subtle and mild look. It's something you can wear on a daily basis because you're not going for parties. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.